Hello, everybody. I'm with Alvaro, who just made recently speak about RabbitMQ. So I wanted to introduce you the concept behind it and enjoy everybody the idea behind it. So we had an interesting conversation about the idea to use it as an service-oriented approach to the network when you do many applications that talk together and streamline how it works. So if you, we all know that there is many distribution of the MQ pattern as in the Java world or any other ones, and you worked a lot on the RabbitMQ distribution. So can we tell us more about it?
Yeah, so first, thanks for the opportunity of the interview. So yeah, I've been working with RabbitMQ, using the server for nearly a year and a half or so in production. And we use it for integrating several applications. So for example, if you have a scenario where you have many processes coded in different languages, architectures, like Windows, Linux, and so on. And then you need to make them communicate together.
And without having to necessarily wait for the task to be done.
Exactly. So. You could use a system like an MQ system, and in the case RabbitMQ, to aid the interoperability between all those processes. And since RabbitMQ is a messaging server, the good thing about it is like all the messages coming through the network, when you publish one, it's completely asynchronous. So you are not waiting for the reply. So your application, the publisher, can continue doing its own stuff, and then later the reply may arrive to the server. So depending, of course, on how you set it up all together. But that's a great aid to have like parallel stuff in your application.
For things that you don't need to wait for the feedback. Let's say a search, it's not good for a search engine to trigger a search results. Okay, would use something like Solar or or Listen or anything like that, or Sphinx that I heard yesterday. I don't know if you went there.
I know.
But for this kind of thing, let's say that you have multi applications that needs to talk together. Instead of using SOAP, you could use this and then use this as the entry point and the exit point.
Exactly.
And you can trigger back events when it's done, like you want to make a thumbnail. Yeah,
for example, the good thing about RabbitMQ is because it uses the ANQP protocol.
Yes,
so there are
the Java standards.
There are many libraries for this, like for Java, PHP, Erlang, Haskell, .NET, and so on. So, for example, if you want to do a picture processing, like doing a resize of an image, you could send a message from your upload form, your upload controller in your application, send a message to the server will send it to a consumer in PHP. Let's say tomorrow this is too slow for your application, you can recode the consumer in Java or C++ or whatever.
Or you want to have many ones that you have.
Exactly, you can do load balancing, and all this stuff will be done by RabbitMQ. So you just code one producer, one consumer, RabbitMQ will take care of sending the message, getting the acknowledgement that the task is done, distributing the load over many consumers, and so on. So let's say later you are required to send an email to all the friends of this user that upload the picture. So you will set up a new consumer that will send emails based on this notification that was sent to the server.
The confirmation that the task is done.
But the producer won't change the code. So that's something like adds a lot of flexibility to the application, because we just send one message, one event to the queue, but then we can process the event as we want.
Yeah. And the good thing with that is that some people might say that it's a one point of failure because you have one queue to process everything. But in the architecture of RabbitMQ, is that you can have many servers responding to the same queue. So
you can. It's very easy to do a clustering setup because RabbitMQ uses the default Erlang distribution protocol. So it's made for this kind of scenarios. Also, you can set up like high availability using a LVS system, so you can have a load balance IP to RabbitMQ behind 3, 4. Then the messages can go in one direction, get out in many, and so on. So
you don't mean the round robin the configuration in DNS, or you mean about virtual IP or something?
You can have a virtual IP,
Okay, and so many machines with the same IP address.
Exactly, and then the consumer, you can take the messages out to the server, but you send to one. If one machine goes down, then they will go to the other ones. And actually, we use that setup in prod for quite successfully. Even when we had to stop the server in one machine to do an upgrade and stuff like that. So.
And what's fun with this protocol is when you do monitoring in your network, you can just add a trigger, let's hello, and it can reply you back. So you could do an Agios task to do, let's say hello, and a word. Tell me if it doesn't reply you back, instead of going to the server and say, okay, let's look if the PID called RabbitMQ is running.
Yeah,
so it could be hung up, but this way you can make sure in the monitoring standpoint that it works.
Yeah, also with Rabbit, because it's done in Erlang, you directly hook into the server process and run monitoring functions in the RabbitMQ memory, so you can check how many Erlang processes are running, how much memory is using, and so on. Then you can also monitor the queues, how many consumers they have, how many messages are there in the queue. And
do they keep statistics about it?
Yeah, there are some stats and some stuff you can like implement your own, like Ganglia plugin or Graphite plugin to keep graph about the queues and so on.
Graphite is an image processing engine for graphing, right?
Yeah, it's very similar to Ganglia. So it's quite easy to have like a graphing system where you see what's going on your queues, which are getting filled up, so you can add more consumers and so on. So it's quite easy to scale and maintain.
So what is the core difference between the many distributions that there is and the core, except the fact that it's in Erlang? What is the difference between, let's say, ActiveMQ from Apache or the ones from the WebSphere platform or any other vendor?
I think the main difference is the RabbitMQ uses the protocol, the AMQP protocol. So
the standard protocol, so it's not reinventing the wheel.
Exactly. So if you have an AMQP client, you can use RabbitMQ.
Oh, good.
Then RabbitMQ runs on many platforms. I bet ActiveMQ also does because it's in Java.
Yes.
So, but for me, the main difference is the protocol behind. So how the communication happens between the producers and consumers. And
I thought we talked that you can return JSON or XML as a return.
Yeah.
As a result, I don't know about the other distributions.
Actually, the
topic.
Most of the messaging servers, they don't care about the message content. They just know they need to transmit a message over the network. Okay. So probably I don't have experience, but I bet ActiveMQ, RabbitMQ, all of those, they support different serializations formats.
Very good. So, well, it was nice to talk to you, and hope you had a nice flight, and see you next time. Man.
Okay, thank you also for the opportunity.
Yeah, pleasure.